Hello and welcome once again everybody to more Terraria Calamity mod revisited. So today we're going to take on Astrum Aureus, a very interesting and unique boss in this playthrough, and it's going to be very challenging to say the least because he's a bit of a bullet hell, but not so much a bullet hell. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. But we've already got our astral chunk, and we got to go ahead and summon nighttime next, so we'll have to go ahead and get that. There we go. And then, yeah, we have to do this in night. So I'm going to go ahead and summon my little minions in the meantime. They may not be a big help, but they're at least a help, to say the least. Also, the Aureus has something interesting about it. When you take damage from Astrum, it actually does 32 damage a second, which is it's a bit much. So I'm actually doing this voiceover right now after the fact I did this because it takes a lot of focus and it takes a lot of just paying attention in order to survive this kind of fight, because if you slip up, 32 damage a second is very unforgiving to say the least. So for this one, I'm going to use the Conclave Crossfire, which is very helpful for this. And we also have the Leviathan as well. Now, the Leviathan is actually very nice for this. It actually does a lot of straight damage, meaning we don't get the homing like we do with the Conclave Crossfire. But the Leviathan, again, does a lot of damage, so if you can stay focused with it, it does pay off, and you can actually kill him a little bit quicker. This fight is going to be a little bit more longer, just for the sheer fact, yeah, we're not doing as much damage with these bullets. And this is now where we're going to start seeing things a little bit more challenging, and we're going to have to start dodge a little bit better, because these things do a lot of damage as well. I believe they do 70 damage per hit, which is, again, once you get the 70 damage plus the 32 damage per second, it's painful. It's very painful. Again, trying to just avoid this. Sometimes it's best just to keep your distance, and dodging isn't that bad. You can actually go through the middle of that little flower burst of damage, but it gets a little bit tricky. It doesn't completely home in on you, but what it does is it does just enough to keep you on your toes. There'll be 3 waves right now. We got 2 waves because we're not going... Oof! Didn't mean to walk into that one. We're not too far in. I think this is like a second wave right about now. We are under 100,000 damage hit points. Damage hit points? What are damage hit points? Anyway, we made it under 100,000 hit points. This is where things are going to get a little bit tricky because, yeah, he's going to start shooting more, they'll get a little more aggravated, and it's going to be a little more intense. This can be a very intense fight toward the end, and these blasts right here can be very dangerous because they become faster and faster, and, well, he's going to continue to jump around. That's why I kind of made this multi-level platform. That way, just easier to dodge his spike attack, I guess you want to call it. He jumps up in the air and tries to spike on top of you. Yikes, except for that, he gets a little bit close. He gets a little bit too close when he teleports. But yeah, there's that damage you take. You can see all the little ones pouring off. That's 32 damage a second, which is insane. And for a couple seconds, that adds up very quickly. So you don't want to take too many of those hits, or else it's going to be night-night real quick. Oof, oh my goodness. Lots of dodging here. It's kind of crazy trying to just dodge all this without trying to take any damage. You have to be very, very good at it or very quick at it. I think I'm very lucky at it. That's why I was able to get away from it. This is probably the safest method, just to kind of peel back until I went up hitting one of the projectiles. But yeah, as you can see, the closer you get, he's now under, what, 50,000 hit points. The more damage he takes and the lower he goes on health, it gets more challenging. Those waves come out more and they shoot more projectiles, which home in. And it's a little less forgiving, to say the least. Yikes. Again, it's difficult to try to dodge them all because there's so many and they're flying every which way. And his shots just come off repeatedly. So thankfully, with the Heart Lanterns and the campfires around here to help with a little health regen, because I am under half health right now, and it's, as you can see, it was like 69, 70 hit points of damage every time you take damage from those things. It's not fun, to say the least. But we'll try to do this again after, if we can beat him the first time. Well, we'll do a second fight just for completion's sake. It doesn't really drop much we need, but it does drop some material we can use later for crafting. Actually, we can actually get another little upgrade for health by something it drops. So it's a matter of just trying to survive this battle and using the platforms as a way to avoid his jumping attack and trying to dodge through all those projectiles. Again, it takes a little bit of luck. Those things are not easy. But we are ever so slowly reaching that point where it's almost over. There is a little bit of a reprieve there, though, because once you start shooting those projectiles, if you're lucky, you can actually find a nice little safe spot and regenerate a little bit of health. Finally down. Yes, and of course, the first time you kill Astrum Aureus, it does summon another meteor for the Astral. So I believe it's somewhere within this world. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it does summon another meteor. We can't farm it just yet because there's another boss that we actually have to kill in order to farm it, but it does put us in the right step in the right direction. So with that, let's clear the area out a little bit more, and I'm going to use this other one. Also, we got developer armor set, which is kind of interesting. Very interesting indeed, but I don't know. I may switch it over. I will switch it over at some point, but maybe not just now. Alright, we'll do this boss fight one more time, but in the meantime, the next step is going to be the Plaguebringer, if I can even say the name right, Plaguebringer Goliath, which is going to be in the underground jungle, or it's going to be in the jungle overall, but I am going to try to summon it into an arena above the jungle. That one's going to be much like the Queen Bee, but it's going to have more hit points, it's going to have a lot more in boss battle itself, which means it's going to be a little bit crazy, just a little bit more crazy. But we're almost done with all the bosses pre-Moonlord. I believe after Plaguebringer, there's going to be Duke Fishron, and of course there's the Cultist, and I think a few more after that up to the Moonlord. So we're almost there. And then of course after that we do have those lovely bosses post-Moonlord, which are going to pose a bigger threat than the Moonlord ever could. So this is going to be where it gets really interesting here very soon. But basically this fight right here is just kind of gold farming in a way, because you can actually get a good amount of gold from these things. I believe it's what, 40 or 50 gold. So it'll be for that and anything else we can get. There's not much we can really, I can really use from this boss. So other than some material for crafting, which again I can use for extra life, that's pretty much it. It's just nice to finally get it out of the way. Now again, according to the wiki, I believe this boss fight could be done before the Golem, but in all honesty, it's the Golem, so it's not a very difficult boss fight. Pretty simple and straightforward. I mean, really, the Golem is like one of the most easiest hard mode bosses in the game, so it could very easily be done. Well, if it was possible, it could be done before the Destroyer and such. But overall, this fight it's interesting, because if you're not well prepared, or if you're not set up right, they can actually catch you off guard. Again, it involves a lot of moving. The platforms are extremely helpful to avoid the jumping, and in some ways, it's just it makes it easier. Now, my platforms aren't really set up the best. As you can see, it's a little bit off. It's a little off-centered, but oh well, it works. It's all because of the area we're working with as well, because this is a bit of a hilly mountain range, so with that, the building of the arena itself was built around the terrain that we're dealing with. So I didn't want to get it out of its own biome, have it enrage, and cause a whole ton more damage. And this time I'm doing a little bit different and almost got very lucky, but we did take one hit. Trying to dodge all those projectiles. It's just so crazy once it starts shooting off 3 rounds of those projectiles, because they don't completely home, but they just do just enough to keep you on your toes. Now, it's very possible to actually take the middle section and just dodge them all, but you got to be very good at it, and I'm not the best. But again, if you could walk out with just 1 hit, it'll be okay. But if you take 3 or 4 hits, that's going to be a lot of life lost. It's going to be very difficult to kind of rebound back after that if you don't have a potion ready, or if you're not in a very safe space. In this fight, there's not many safe spaces as is. But we've already got it down to under 30,000 hit points, coming up on 20,000. There we go. So this one should be pretty much in the bag at this point, even though, again, those projectiles, super annoying. Oof. Okay, well, this fight's going to be a little bit closer than I thought. I don't remember this part. Yeah, under 100 hit points. Yeah, this was kind of intense. Kind of intense. So yeah, thankfully the cooldown on the potions were gone. Just not getting lucky dodging those projectiles. Again, if you're new to this fight, I would not recommend trying to go through the middle. It's best just to run the other way. Oof, under 60 hit points, under 50. So there we go. That just gives you an idea of how it works, and it's a bit crazy. So yeah, with that done, If you put Astrum Aureus in the completion section, go ahead and, again, we don't get too much from this, but it's just nice to have the extra coins, and just to say it's completed. And those Aureus cells are very helpful for crafting later. So anyway, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to put a like on it, as it helps the channel out greatly. If you're new, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and I'll see you again next time.